The third panel member we have is Madahar. She's the head of careers and employability at De Montfort University in Leicester. Her current remit includes developing and delivering the employability strategy across De Montfort University, managing careers, coaching and development position, as well as developing and shaping the university's employer engagement. She brings with her over 20 years experience of developing higher education employability and strategies and enterprise strategies, delivering careers coaching and employability skills training.
Hello, I'm Madahar. I'm the Head of Careers and Employability at De Montfort University. And my role in working with students and graduates in the UK over the last 10 years has really drastically changed as I've witnessed global graduate recruitment markets opening up, increases in the numbers of international students studying in the UK, and the graduate market really both here and overseas becoming ever more competitive. And I thought long and hard about what sort of angle I wanted to present to you today. And I thought, shall I spend the next 5 minutes moaning about the post-study work visas, or shall I mention the increasing tuition fees, or shall I mention this government policy, or what have you? And actually I thought I want to try and be a little bit more positive than that. And I want to try and introduce the concept of the global graduates. So that's what I'm going to talk about for the next few moments, is the notion of the global graduate and what is now expected of graduates in an ever worldwide labour market. So the market for high-skilled graduates is increasingly global. Economic and technological change is facilitating an internationalisation and deterritorialisation, I practiced that word last night, of business, with many companies, both large and small, having international operations and international recruitment patterns. So, global leaders are challenging national expectations for the graduate workforce. And as employers' requirements for their global workforce change, graduates and providers of higher education must adapt in order to prosper. So in the last quarter century, the size and dynamic of the graduate talent pool has changed dramatically. The so-called massification of higher education continues, and the global appetite for graduates is increasing apace. Multinational employers and increasingly employers of all kinds require their workforce to work readily and confidently across worldwide operations, using a global outlook to consider new opportunities and challenges. At the same time, they need employees, i.e. you, who can assimilate organisational values and operate comfortably with the technological and cultural demands of the 21st century workplace. And expectations extend beyond the early graduate career, with high expectations for graduates to one day take key leadership roles. So ultimately, graduates, whether they are British or international, must be able to work across national borders, manage complex international and intercultural relationships, and understand the global aspects of the world of work. So if graduates want to compete in the global market, they need to have additional global competencies, as well as the traditional capabilities employees have always had. The emergence of the global graduate has been recognised by leading businesses, and they are beginning to provide global graduate development programmes to grow global leaders of the future. There's a lot of global going on. So, internationalisation is a key trend in higher education, and opportunities to work or study abroad are certainly an important way to build global competence. Figures show that there are over 3.5 million international students worldwide studying in countries outside their country of citizenship. The UK is a strong provider of quality higher education and is the second, at the moment, is the second highest receiver of international students worldwide, giving us a valuable pool of international students and graduates from which to recruit. Many more students from BRIC nations such as China and India are benefiting from an international education and its associated immersion in another culture. Both these countries grew their study abroad numbers by around 10 times over 3 decades, while well outstripping the UK's increase of 33%. So in this competitive international labour market, what must the global graduate be able to offer employers? Core requirements valued by most graduate employers include the familiar competencies that I'm sure we're all aware of, such as team working, communication, presentation and self-management, as well as work experience, professionalism and industry knowledge. All of these are obviously vital for graduates, whether or not they are engaging on a global basis. However, there are global dimensions to these competencies that must be factored into employers' competency frameworks to secure the development of global leaders. Relatively speaking, the 4 most important global competencies were, when they did a study of this, were an ability to work collaboratively, communication, both speaking and listening, drive and resilience, and embracing multiple perspectives. And some employers have also identified a change in graduate attitudes and rising cosmopolitan outlook from the generation that grew up with the internet and cheap international travel. As one employer put it, I think we're starting to see in a particular generation where they think of themselves as quite literally world citizens. I don't mean conceptually, I mean they see the world as boundaryless, that they are able to move, shift, work anywhere and do anything. Graduates also need a global mindset, which can be expressed in many ways, including an understanding and respect for other cultures. And this can be important from an employer, whether local or global. And a major energy company stated in a recent study, you need the mindset that says, the person I'm talking to isn't like me, and I need to understand what they are like and then work with them. It isn't only about having the technical knowledge, it's also necessary to understand the values, customs, cultures and behaviours that are significant to them. As one other employee stated, I think cultural dexterity is important, an ability not to impose one's own culture on another one, to be sensitive to other cultures, and how to do business in different environments. There are certain ways of working with clients in the Middle East that you wouldn't adopt in Japan. So globalised businesses require talent to compete in global marketplaces and have higher expectations of graduate recruits than ever before. With the aid of technological advances, numerous multinational employers have freed their workplace from geographical or physical boundaries and are looking for graduates able to work collaboratively with teams from across the globe. Operating in these globalised workplaces requires an ability to empathetically embrace multiple perspectives and communicate confidently. With this in mind, it is worth highlighting that global employability skills which take into account an international dimension are increasingly expected by many employers. Global graduates require a blend of competencies and corresponding attributes spanning global mindset, cultural agility and relationship management, and must be able to apply them flexibly. Achieving global graduate competence is not just about attaining qualifications and excelling in a knowledge-based or professional capacity, but it's also about holistic competency development in the sense of outlook, values and character traits. Experience of working overseas and immersion in different culture can catapult a graduate into being considered for rewarding and challenging roles. I've noticed, however, that many UK graduates are reluctant to accept the demands of mobility, whether within their home country or beyond, and may even choose to study close to home. This is a situation which many international graduates are able to exploit, as they seem to embrace the demands of geographical mobility more so than their UK counterparts. And a further challenge comes given the radical technological changes that we are likely to experience in the way that the global workforce is recruited, organised and managed between now and 2020. And it is important to remember what Richard Riley, former US Secretary of Education, said. We are currently preparing students for jobs and technologies that don't exist in order to solve problems that we don't even know are problems yet. So to sum up, a global graduate should have the core competencies expected of any graduate, but they will also have a global mindset, the ability to communicate and manage people of different cultures and backgrounds, an openness to learning new languages as a route to better communication, an adaptability and flexibility that extends to being open to global assignments and mobility, and a knowledge of global affairs that shape their work and life. Equipped with these competencies, graduates can become future leaders of global business. Okay, thank you very much.